Fast forward years later, hey, yo, T, guess what? You know, I'm offering you more money. You could be in Expendables too, you know? Hey, boy, let me tell you something, fool. I don't care about the money. You ain't put me in Rocky 4. You got that big white boy. Ugh. Alright, y'all, so the reason for the video is that I just found out some funny information about my favorite movie of all time. If anybody knows me, they know that my favorite movie ever is Rocky 3, and Clubber Lang is my favorite movie villain. I'm a big Mr. T fan. I grew up in the 80s, so the A-Team, WrestleMania 1 and 2, you know what I mean? Rocky, Mr. T, that was my dude, man. He's one of the few celebrities, if I ever met in person, I'll be starstruck. And by the way, I'm wearing my hoodie because my hair is growing in, and when my hair grows in, I look really fucking old. So yeah, that's why I got the hoodie on. So I was watching Godfrey's podcast today, and his daughter was on there. And forgive me, I don't know his daughter's name. I believe she's a comedian. She's a stand-up comedian slash kindergarten teacher. Yeah, that's a good dual job to have, telling jokes and then teaching little kids. But yeah, she was on Godfrey's podcast, and she was talking about her father, and this has got to be true because this is his child telling it, but she was saying how her father, Mr. T, government name Lawrence Turow, is beefing with Rocky himself, Sylvester Stallone. And this explains a lot of shit because if you look at the Rocky movies and the spin-offs, Mr. T was only in one of them. He was only in Rocky 3. But since then, you know, you go to Creed. Creed had to do with Apollo Creed, and then Drago and his family had to do with the second Creed movie, but there was no more mention of Clubber Lang after 3. It was like just a one-and-done deal, but 2-1 because he fought him twice in Rocky 3. And come to find out, Mr. T all these years has been beefing with Sly because he wasn't in Rocky 4. So I'll leave the link in the description so you can hear the video yourself. But she said that Mr. T, felt like he should have got paid more money. But mind you, this is his first movie. He's never acted before. I don't know what he got paid, but how can you demand more money and you never even acted before? Okay, that's one strike. And then after that, Rocky 3 is a big success. It's one of the top movies of '82. Still my personal favorite movie ever and my favorite Rocky movie. And he wanted to be in 4. Now, Mr. T was in 4, but just as archive footage, you know, recapping what happened in the third movie. But he got mad at Sly because he wasn't in the 4th one. He got mad because not only was not in the 4th one, but they picked Dolph Lundgren, Ivan Drago, to be the villain in the 4th movie. So I guess Mr. T wanted to be a situation where, like in Rocky 1 and 2, where Apollo was in both movies, and he expected that for 4. But I don't know if he realized is that he fought Apollo once in the first movie, he lost. Then he fought Apollo in the second movie, he won. Rocky already fought Clubber Lang twice. Clubber knocked him out in the first fight, and then Rocky knocked him out in the second fight. So unless they want to do a rubber match, but in the cinematic universe, that just doesn't make sense. In the real sports world, yeah, you know, we want to see a trilogy, but not so much in the movies. When he defeated Mr. T in that last fight, when he beat Clubber Lang in that last fight in Rocky 3, that was such a climactic, epic moment. There was no need to repeat that. You know what I'm saying? There was no need to revisit that again. Like that's cemented in history as one of the best movie fights ever, especially that third round, you know, ain't so bad, you ain't nothing. Just leave it be. Fast forward now, that was 85. Fast forward 35 years later, and he's still beefing over the shit. And then she says that Sly reached out to him to be in the Expendables. T was like, nah, because you ain't put me in Rocky 4. This is his daughter's telling it now. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. She's telling this shit. I haven't heard Mr. T say it, so I know some of you be like, well, she could be lying on him. You know, you got to hear out the horse's mouth. That's his daughter. All right, I don't see why she would lie about that. But yeah. So Sly offered him Expendables 1. He didn't want to do it. He said, nah, you ain't put me in Rocky 4. So then come Expendables 2. Nah, fuck that, man. You know, you ain't put me in Rocky 4. And from what she said, Sly offered him even more money to be in the second one. T said, nah. I always wondered why Mr. T's career never took off, because I'm like, damn, he was such a, you know, he had that it factor. You know what I'm saying? He had that presence. He had the mohawk and everything, the jewelry. You know, he had the charisma. Why didn't his career go further? And when you hear stuff like this, I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense, because he I hate to call him a fool, you know, but that's insane. You know, I paid a fool, you know. Well, why didn't your career go off? Because I was a fool. T probably could have had a better career if he maybe would have had better people around him, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he came from the south side of Chicago, so he came from a bad spot where I guess he had nothing. So I guess when he did kind of hit it big, it's like, listen, I never had money before. Now I got money, and now I want even more money. But that shit kind of costs you because you're being greedy. And the fact that he rejected being in the Expendables, because I think I was one of the people, too, that said, how come he didn't call Mr. T or Carl Weathers? You know, I know him and Carl Weathers had a little beef for a while, I think over some money, over the fact that Carl Weathers wasn't getting paid for archive footage that he did in the other Rocky movies that was shown in Rocky Balboa. But I never knew that that T felt that way about Sly. And for Sly to reach out to him twice and be like, hey, Mr. T, I want to put you in the Expendables. Nah, boy, you ain't put me in Rocky 4. Okay, whatever, T. Fast forward years later, hey, yo, T, guess what? You know, I'm offering you more money. You could be in Expendables too, you know? Hey, boy, let me tell you something, fool. I don't care about the money. You ain't put me in Rocky 4. You got that big white boy. Ugh. Nah. I just wanted to share that with y'all real quick. I hope they make a documentary about the whole making of Rocky 3. Like, I've seen the documentary of 1 and all that shit, but I want to see a whole documentary just about the third one and the making of that, because I fucking love that movie, man. Sly is my hero also. If I ever met Sly in person, I'll be starstruck. If I had met anybody from the Rocky franchise, I'll be starstruck. You know what I'm saying? Even Antonio Tarver, who was the worst character in the movie, but just the fact that he was the guy that knocked out Roy Jones, you know, I'll probably be starstruck with him too. So anyways, what do you think about this whole Mr. T situation? Did you hear about it? Comment freely below. Thank you all for watching. Did I leave anything out? Yeah, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.